Rick and Morty just dropped the trailer for Season 7, and while it does finally give us the first clips of the new voices for Rick and Morty, it's also still being kept under wraps exactly who the voices of Rick and Morty are being performed by. The trailer also has a lot of hints about what we can expect to see in the new season. This isn't going to be quite as thorough of a trailer breakdown as I've done for the previous seasons, but there are a lot of things I do want to talk about, as well as talk about the new voice actor situation, so let's just dive into it. But first, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Fume. Bad habits can be hard to break, but Fume is here to help because they look at the problem differently. Not every aspect of a bad habit is wrong, so instead they help you by removing the bad from your habit. Fume is an innovative and award-nominated device that does exactly this. No electronics, Fume is natural. No vapor, Fume is just flavored air, baby. No harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious, all-natural flavors. You get the picture. It's a replacement habit that you can actually enjoy to help break your bad habit. Each Fume comes with adjustable airflow and is even designed with adjustable magnetic parts in case you're a fidgeter. Basically a built-in fidget device. Fume also has great new cores. Raspberry lemon really leans into that refreshing citrus with a hint of berry. Sparkling grapefruit is your classic cooling grapefruit flavor, but my favorite is orange vanilla, which was surprising since I'm not usually an orange flavor person. It's a nice, light, fruity, creamy flavor. Switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. They've served over 100,000 customers and have thousands of success stories, and maybe you can be next. Join Fume's journey to break the world's bad habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com/Johnny2Cellos or scan the QR code and use code Johnny2Cellos to get 10% off your Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com with code Johnny2Cellos to save an additional 10% off your order. Alright, first let's talk about those voices, which I think are really solid. Rick sounds basically the same with a bit less gravel in his voice.
I found the version of me that killed my wife, you just missed it.
It sounds like the new guy really nails the cadence, but maybe can't quite get the voice exact when the character is yelling.
Whose car is this? Whose sun visor is this? What's a sun?
Honestly though, this is way closer than I expected. Morty seems to sound even closer, though I do think we hear a bit less of him in this trailer.
Fly through space, come upon something, maybe I have a moral objection.
Plus, these actors still had to actually dub over Roiland's previously recorded dialogue for most likely the majority of these episodes, and that makes delivering a performance even more difficult. I think these guys are going to really sink nicely into these roles, especially when they're able to deliver their dialogue on their own without the dubbing process impeding them. But without a doubt, the most interesting reveal here is the lack of a reveal. Yes, we've finally heard the new voices, but Adult Swim is choosing not to reveal the voice actors' identities until the premiere of Season 7. This is causing a lot of speculation that they might actually be AI, but rest assured, this would be a batshit decision and there's no way they're going to be AI. A Hollywood Reporter article has confirmed that Rick and Morty both have separate voice actors, which is great news in my opinion. I've been saying since Roiland was ousted that hiring separate actors will allow for some creative chemistry to be developed in the booth and will help aid in the character improv, so to me that's really exciting. But they also revealed that an Adult Swim insider has said this about their decision to withhold their identities. We want the show to speak for itself. We believe in the strength of the season and our new voices, and we want to preserve the viewing experience for fans. So while I did initially see this as kinda sus, I think there are a couple very good reasons for it. For one, the new voice actors are for sure going to get a ton of hate and vitriol from sections of the fandom, regardless of how they perform. Saving them from that before the premiere is a smart move. And in that same vein, at the very least, giving the audience an entire episode to potentially be won over by the performances, I think is another smart move. I certainly don't envy the performers. It's always tough to take over a beloved character, let alone two titular characters, but so far from what we've seen, they sound really good. As far as that trailer itself goes, I'm not going to comb over every single detail, but there are a bunch of potential stories here that look really interesting, and I appreciate the opening gag, which is sort of just poking fun at some of their previous tendencies.
Hey look, Morty! I'm a leg! A leg, Morty!
Morty just walking away unimpressed feels like such an audience stand-in moment. Oh, Rick turned himself into another thing. Great. I think we can hone in on a few plots here through the trailer clips and the episode titles that have already been revealed. There's clearly a full-on Blade parody going on, so vampire hunting definitely appears to be on the menu. My guess is that this is episode 4, That's Amorte. Obviously, this is using Morty's name, but it's playing on the song That's Amore. Amore in Italian is love, but morte in Italian is death. With vampires being undead, I'm betting that this is the vampire episode. There are a handful of shots with characters that appear to be alien mobsters in full-on 1920s gangster garb.
Telling you, man, you're making a big mistake here.
Not entirely sure which episode this will be based on titles alone, mostly because the puns for these titles are a lot. There's an episode that seems to involve both Rick's therapist Dr. Wong and also the president. At this point, it feels like the president is almost Rick's primary antagonist. Dude gets an episode every single season, it seems like. And this is almost certainly the third episode of the season, Air Force Wong. Pretty easy to see the connections there. Air Force One, Dr. Wong, you get it. We also get a couple more looks at Rick's ever-expanding underground sci-fi base, which is very dope, and I hope we see a lot more of this year. But for me, the most exciting aspect of this trailer, content-wise, is returning characters. Some characters we haven't seen in a while. While he's mostly been used as sort of fourth wall-breaking season wrap-up character, Mr. Poopy Butthole's backstory has gotten increasingly tragic over the years. After Beth shot him in his first appearance in season 2, the season 3 finale tag revealed that he seemed to get everything in his life back together, getting his GED and revealing that he has a wife and kids. But then the events of One Crew Over the Crew Cruise Morty in season 4 were confirmed to have lost him his job forever. In the tag for the season 5 finale, Mr. Poopy Butthole reveals that his wife left him and took their kid, Poopy Jr. And then in the season 6 finale tag, he was shown to be trying to get back in shape to get his life back on track, only to break both of his legs while weightlifting. While this is all almost entirely played out in the tags of finales of different seasons, it appears as though the season premiere for season 7 will be focusing on Mr. Poopy Butthole getting his life back together for real. The episode is called How Poopy Got His Poop Back, an obvious allusion to how Stella got her groove back. There's a shot in the trailer where he gets his face shoved into a birthday cupcake, really leaning into that misery that we've already seen. But the most telling shot is actually a blink and you'll miss it frame that's during this quick cut sequence towards the beginning of the trailer. We can see a disheveled Mr. Poopy Butthole downing a bottle of Jack Daniels in the Smiths' living room, with Beth looking in disapprovingly. But even more interestingly, in the corner we can see a book called Custody Law for Dummies, showing that Amy is likely keeping Poopy Jr. from seeing Mr. Poopy Butthole. Probably justifiably. So yeah, I think this one is clearly going to be about Mr. Poopy Butthole getting his life back together, hopefully with Rick's help, since the heist seems to be the catalyst for everything in his life falling apart. Also returning are all of Rick's closest friends with what looks like some kind of road trip adventure. Bird Person is back for the first time since Rick restored him in season 5. Squanchy is back for the first time since season 2's The Wedding Squanchers, at least chronologically. And Gearhead, who seemingly died last time we saw him in Vindicators 3, is also back, so I guess he's okay. These clips seem to imply that the gang needs a designated driver and they recruit the Smith's neighbor Gene. I guess he's gonna drive them around the galaxy or space or something. We'll see. It looks like Mr. Poopy Butthole is in this one too. We see the entire gang load into some kind of spaceship. So my guess is that this is a mostly comedic road trip adventure. But my hope is that we get some sort of follow-up to the Bird Person daughter reveal from the end of season 5. The entire gang going to free her from the Federation would be a fun adventure. Not necessarily what I'm expecting from this one though. There's also a really quick shot of a shirt attacking Rick. When I saw it, I thought, oh, this must be that Attack of the Clothes episode, before I realized that that is actually a title from Futurama's season that will drop next year. Feels kind of bizarre to have new Futurama and new Rick and Morty on at the same time. At one point, Rick seems to be freaking out and doesn't recognize anything that's going on in his own ship, at which point Morty uses something that appears to operate like a neuralizer from Men in Black. I'm curious if this is the same episode as the shot of Summer about to once again clean up the room of the memories and lost adventures from Morty's mind blowers. I feel like we're going to be seeing Summer get really fed up with Rick and Morty this season, being tired of cleaning up all their messes. There's a scene where Rick is trying to apologize to her.
I said I was sorry.
No, you didn't.
I said it quietly. Shut up.
And there's also a quick shot of jacked Summer beating up Rick in the garage, reminiscent of the end of season 1's Something Wicked This Way Comes. The press release mentions Evil Summer, and I think it's clear that they're trying to make the fans draw comparisons to Evil Morty, but I think this is probably something smaller and less overarching. There's a shot of Summer messing with a cursed amulet, and I bet that this is what gives us the quote-unquote evil Summer. Also, I guess we're going to get an episode where everyone is obsessed with Rick's famous spaghetti, so that'll probably be the season highlight. Obviously, the whole recast and fact that we're hearing the new voices for the first time in this trailer is sort of overshadowing the actual content of these episodes, which makes sense given how big of a news story this has all been. But I'm pretty encouraged by these new voices so far. Obviously, they couldn't have done what Solar Opposites did, recasting an entirely different voice for Corvo with an in-universe explanation. That just wouldn't have worked for Rick and Morty. But honestly, I'm 90% sure that the casual fans who don't actually know anything about Roiland being ousted will not notice a difference in these voices. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to cover Rick and Morty Season 7 as closely as I did Season 6, but I am very eager to see the premiere and get a full 22-minute adventure with the new voices under our belt. Obviously, some fans just won't be happy no matter who the voices are, but all in all, this trailer is really encouraging, and I'm very eager to learn their secret identities. What do you think of the new voices? Also, the content of the trailer, I guess. Was there anything in there I didn't talk about that interests you? Let me know below in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
I stay mellow watching Johnny two cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny two cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.